All right, let's jump straight into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we are taking a seriously thrilling leap back in time for a historical presentation on the construction of the Red Fort. Look, we aren't just going to sit here looking at dates on a timeline or flipping through dusty textbook pages. Oh no, we're stepping directly into the absolute chaos and brilliance of a bustling 17th century building site to see one of the world's most iconic monuments being built from scratch. Get ready, because we're experiencing this architectural masterpiece right from the ground floor.
To really set the stage, listen to this exact moment from the journey. Today, I have arrived in the year 1638 at the construction site of the Red Fort. Can you even imagine saying that? We're diving right into this history through the eyes of a first-hand time-traveling vlogger. Honestly, it is the absolute best, most immersive way to grasp just how monumental this project really was.
So, let's get into it. Welcome to the year 1638. Now, what's so wild about this is the sheer chronological jump we're making here. We are catapulting from the familiar, modern comforts of 2026 straight back centuries to 1638, arriving right on day one of our historical observer's journey. Just imagine stepping out of your everyday life and boom, you're immediately hit by the intense sights, the deafening sounds, and the smells of 17th century Delhi. The air is just thick with dust, and the scale of the foundation they're laying out before us, it's honestly staggering.
Moving on to our next section, the Emperor and the construction materials.
You know, there's this fascinating dual nature happening on this mega project. On one hand, you've got this heavy, brute force logistics operation. We're talking colossal red stones being hauled all the way from Rajasthan. But then, literally right next to that, on the exact same site, you have breathtaking, delicate, fine artistry. Artisans doing meticulous marble work, shaping precision arches, and carving incredibly intricate designs into the stone. It's this perfect, chaotic blend of raw physical strength meeting highly refined beauty.
And we really have to ask, how did they actually move these colossal red stones across such vast distances? Obviously, no modern trucks or cranes here. Camels and bullock carts were the literal engines of this 17th century supply chain. Thousands of workers in these animals were laboring tirelessly, day and night, hauling these massive loads to make this grand architectural vision a physical reality.
But wait, right in the middle of all this dust, sweat, and heavy lifting, the entire atmosphere shifts. Shah Jahan himself has come to inspect the construction. Our vlogger captures this incredibly tense, awe-inspiring moment when the Mughal emperor suddenly arrives on the site. You can just feel the noise level drop. Everyone, from the lowest laborer to the highest architect, bows in profound respect to the ultimate visionary behind the fort.
All right, let's explore the main sites of the Red Fort.
Here is our historical roadmap for today. We're going to start at the perimeter with the main wall, then head over to the Grand Lahori Gate, step inside the complex to see the Diwani-Am, and finally wind up at the lush Shahi Bagh. Following this structure really gives us a perfect snapshot of how the different components of a massive Mughal citadel were constructed simultaneously. First up, the main wall. And the number you absolutely need to focus on here is 30. These perimeter walls are being built to a mind-boggling height of almost 30 meters. The sheer vertical scale is just insane, especially when you consider the technology they had back then. And remember, these towering structures aren't just for show. They serve a critical, heavy-duty defensive purpose, built specifically to protect the inner citadel against relentless enemy attacks.
Next, we're moving along that massive perimeter right to the Lahori Gate. This is destined to be the main entrance of the Red Fort, and the detail work happening right before our vlogger's eyes is totally captivating. The artisans are meticulously crafting these beautiful, sweeping arches and stunning stone carvings. They want to ensure that anyone who approaches this fort is instantly struck by its overwhelming grandeur and sheer power. Now, stepping inside the complex, we find ourselves at the Diwan-e-Am. This space will eventually become the Emperor's public audience hall, the exact place where he'll directly meet his people. Right now, though, in 1638, it's all about meticulous marble installation. The artisans are doing extremely delicate, precise work so that Shah Jahan will have this perfect, gleaming white hall to hold his daily audiences. Our final stop on the interior tour is the Shahi Bagh. I want you to picture this: a beautiful, blooming garden, flowing water fountains, and intricate water canals, all being built right in the dead center of a dusty, loud, chaotic construction zone.
It's such a stark contrast, but it perfectly showcases that deep Mughal love for integrating soothing nature and precise geometry right into their grand architecture.
Okay, it is time for a safe return to the present.
Because actually, there's a very sudden, tense shift happening right now. The heavy gaze of the guards has locked directly onto our time traveler. Turns out our strange, futuristic clothes from 2026 are drawing a lot of unwanted and highly suspicious looks from these heavily armed 17th century Mughal soldiers. Yeah, it is definitely time to wrap up this historical observation and get the heck out of there.
So, the breathless escape begins. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. We fire up the time machine to make a hasty, high-stakes retreat back to our own era before those guards get any closer. Wow, that sudden tension really brings the whole experience to life, doesn't it? It's a quick reminder that we are definitely outsiders looking into a very real, very serious past.
Phew! Back safely in 2026, we can all finally breathe a massive sigh of relief. We've securely returned from a truly remarkable first-hand analysis of Mughal architecture in the making, seeing the Red Fort not as a finished, polished tourist attraction, but as a dynamic, noisy, dusty construction site is just a profoundly unique and effective way to grasp the reality of our history.
Which leaves us with one final, provocative thought to wrap up our explainer today: where to go next time. Seriously, if you had control of this time machine and could witness the raw construction of any historical monument in the entire world, what would it be? Think about what we learned today regarding logistics, artistry, and scale, and imagine applying that exact same perspective to another era entirely. Thank you so much for joining me on this phenomenal journey. Until next time, keep learning and keep exploring.